Bet you didn't think I would do an Excel scenario anytime soon? But here we are. Viking we shall go. This has been requested a few times, and as an added bonus here, I totally lied, unintentionally, to this person about playing red. Hashtag not Norway for life after all. As mentioned, this is an extra large map, modeled after Europe, as we can clearly see. In the north, we find the Red stronghold in their starting town of Oslo, and I gotta say, I'm a bit offended that Norway is barbarian land, while Denmark is enlightened wizards. This is highly offensive stuff, 3DO. In the east, we find Purple Inferno, the only unplayable faction. In Italy, we find Tan Castle, pretending to be noble and high class, but France is definitely accurate, as Blue Necropolis. Pre-Industrial Revolution Great Britain hosts Green Rampart, who definitely drew the short straw here. Quite bad layout compared to mainland Europe. And finally, we find Orange Castle on the Iberian Peninsula. In addition to this, there are a crap ton of neutral towns, most of which are found near the starting towns of the different colors, but also some far out of reach, for example on different islands spread throughout. Since there is so much going on this map, I'm literally just gonna focus on what I think is very notable and ignore everything else. In the heart of Europe, we find Switzerland represented as well, as a tower town. And this is very notable, as it has literally every building pre-built, including the Grail structure, as well as a cloud temple right next to town, with the needed resources on the ground as well. The faster we can reach this town, the faster we can take over the map, as we not only get a massive army boost, we also get full vision of the map through the Grail, making it much easier to plan our routes. The downside? The quest guard blocking the path, which needs a Statesman's Medal, a Diplomat's Ring, and an Ambassador's Sash, which are rewards from the Seers' huts on the islands near Orange. But there is a faster way in. There is one free spot on the ground around this tower town, and this means that if we can get our hands on Dimension Door or Fly, we can skip the quest guard. Thankfully, there are 4 random relic artifacts on the map. 2 near purple, so we won't have access to those. 1 guarded by a random tier 6 creature, which can be difficult to do early. And 1 behind this light blue border guard. Of these, the last one is the easiest to access early. The light blue Keymaster's tent is in Orange's backyard, making the choice of color very easy. It's always gonna be orange. The road from Orange to the border guard is only really guarded by 1 random tier 4 creature, but we also need to get past blue, so we can't sacrifice everything to beat the tier 4 creature. After reaching Switzerland, we should be able to take over the map using the Titans, while moving around the map with our mobility spell. But since every building is pre-built, we also have 2 chances of more mobility spells, so in theory, we can have multiple heroes conquering the map in record pace. But our main hero should be a magic hero with good chances of getting air magic, to both have the mana to cast a mobility spell, preferably Dimension Door, but also cast it multiple times per turn. The obvious choice for Castle is Adelaide, as she only starts with Wisdom and no other bad secondaries like most Castle heroes do. That's the gist of it, short and sweet, but I definitely didn't touch in on everything, since this scenario is so big and has so many things happening at once. Anyways, I'm playing Orange Adelaide. Check. Gold bonus for all, as I need gold. Check. Let's just give it a go. Remember to like, comment and subscribe. Or maybe even become a channel member. In order to find my preferred seed, I enter the Master Gremlin fight to the southwest and reset 5 times. This gives me a pretty good seed. I pick up the wood nearby and head east, visiting a guardhouse for some free pikemen and move towards a gold pile near the coast, which I pick up on day 2 and then find my way to the water wheel for a small gold boost. This gives me exactly 2,500 gold, so I can recruit a second hero, Caitlyn, who uses all of her movement to bolster Adelaide's army. Adelaide then sets her sights on France already. On day 3, Caitlyn picks up some ore near the town, while Adelaide prepares to take on the demons on the French border. Otto wins this fight pretty handily, but I need to preserve more army. I box my archers in using the 1 stacks of pikemen I made on day 2. I even take advantage of Adelaide's specialty, Frost Ring, to take out 3 demons in a single cast, before the archers can start firing full damage shots. 1 top demon dies after the 2nd archer shot, and I move the 1 stacks out of the big pikeman stack's way, getting a big hit in. But the demon survives with a single HP, so instead I use a 1 stack to finish it off. From here, the strategy is simply to use the 1 stacks to take retaliation for the big pikeman stack, while keeping the archers safe. Relatively simple, and I can finish the fight losing only 6 pikemen. On we go. Adelaide makes sure to get the 2k gold from the roadside chest, and takes on the first French town, Bordeaux, guarded by 4 whites. Otto loses a single pikeman, but I can do better. The whites fly out into full damage range of the archers, and get 2 nice hits in after the whites wait on turn 2. The pikemen then get a lucky morale, and I finish the fight lossless. Nice. Adelaide levels up into expert wisdom and +1 knowledge. And in town, I build a mage guild to restore her spell points. Day 4, Caitlyn finds the southern neutral castle town unguarded and just flags it, before heading back out again. It's literally free real estate. Adelaide recruits all available skeletons in her town, in order to scare any blue heroes off, and starts pathing towards the light blue border guard, nearly reaching blue's town, which is unguarded. And after I randomly decide to check one of my towns, I end day 2. The free blue town is completely ignored by blue, and also completely ignored by me. I do some inefficient pathing with Caitlyn, going for the Keymaster's tent now, and then ride straight past the free blue town with Adelaide, following the road north, ending the day right next to the border guard, which you can then pass on day 6. This is a nice little treasure zone, but I can't pick everything up. I prioritize XP, first leveling up into basic earth magic, and as she's moving down, we can see the random relic is an air tome. Very nice. Adelaide then levels up into advanced earth, and finally expert earth, which is not optimal. I obviously would have preferred air magic, but it is what it is. Caitlyn's job from now on is just to pick up resources, unless anything changes. On day 7, the air tome is acquired, and with her 30 mana, Adelaide can use the 25 mana dimension door to reach the tower town's area, pick up the gold in the way, and just barely reach town, which is guarded. Otto is destroyed, which is not a surprise, as this town has all 3 arrow towers, which can do incredible amounts of damage, as every building is built. Arrow tower damage scales with number of buildings, so this has to be a manual fight. Thankfully, she has expert earth, meaning the magic arrow from the Necro town now does 60 damage. 15 gremlins have 60 HP in total, so that's a nice little outcome there. 1 arrow equals GG, easy fight. Still no air magic, but logistics is also nice. Now we can see the whole map, and after walking into town, I recruit a second hero. I was a bit stumped as I never got Alamar here, and he should be the better choice usually, but I still go for Vey. After Caitlyn gets some gems, I recruit the single titan in town, hand it over to Vey, who picks up a bunch of the ground resources in a random order, before he takes on the nearby Cloud Temple, which Otto wins, which was a bit surprising. I then check to see where green is, as one of their heroes is usually sailing somewhere stupid, which can be a limiting factor to this run, before I get a Master Gene for Adelaide for movement points, dismissing the rest of the army, and finish the day. From this point on, a lot comes down to randomness in how the AI behaves. I've played this many times and get different behavior every single time, so there's probably ways to do this faster, but let's see how it goes. Week 2 day 1, I recruit the second Cloud Temple Giant with Vey, pick up the remaining ground gold and trade the Giants to Adelaide, sending the Air Tome to Vey, upgrade the Giants, and I realize I forgot to show this. The Mage Guild has both Dimension Door and Fly, which Adelaide learns with her Expert Wisdom. I want both XP and gold on her, so I eventually DD to the Imp Cache, auto the fight, and then auto the nearby genies to pick up the +5 attack artifacts. And then I cast Fly to reach the closest Tan town, blasting through their defenses, finally learning air magic. Adelaide heads into town, where a mage guild is already built, so I use this opportunity to build a marketplace in 4 of my towns, as I will need more gold to fund my strategy soon. Vey simply walks into the tower town to restore his mana, as the Wall of Knowledge provides you +1 knowledge. So if Vey wants to leave this area the next day, he needs the extra mana. Tan has 2 more towns, but it's very inefficient to use Adelaide to go for the southern one, so instead she DDs towards the northern one, which is guarded by Sanya and a decent chunk of army. Auto loses a Titan, which I obviously can't afford. If you're trying to learn how to play HOMM3 fights, don't take anything away from this. I wait on turn 1, letting the sprites fly in to full damage range, and kill them afterwards. On turn 2, I cast Slow for some reason. Shoot the pikemen, and Sanya just dispels them afterwards. Nice. I get another hit in before the pikes go for the catapult, stopping my titans from shooting. More of the same on turn 4, and I cast Haste on turn 5 before taking out the pikemen. I then wait the following turn, moving inside the walls after the archers shoot, and then block them afterwards to make them melee my titans. The archers just die to a couple of hits, and I win without losses. But this is just baffling gameplay. Anyway, advanced air is picked up, so I can DD 3 times per turn now. I use this newfound ability to find Loinis hanging around, who auto takes care of, before setting my sights on the first of Purple's towns. I then get a little bit confused about order, trading in one of Tan's previous towns, and build a tavern, before remembering I need to do Vey's turn first. I trade the Sulfur and Mercury for gold, which lets me buy every single Titan in the tower town. I then cast Fly in order to go for the Naga Bank to the south to get some XP and gold. Auto loses 2 Titans against the 20 Nagas, so I do this myself. I've split the 5 Titans into 2 stacks and hit both of the top corner Nagas, taking out a few of them. After tanking the Naga hits, I move the 3 stack to the top left corner and the 2 stack to the bottom left corner. The 3 stack tanks a couple more Naga hits before finishing off the first stack, while the 2 stack reduces the 3 Naga stacks to 2. This is usually bad order, but since I've played this seed many times with this setup, I know that after hitting the small Naga stack with my big Titan stack, they will get a morale, letting them run away. I can now just start kiting the slow Nagas, which makes the rest of this fight trivial. In the end, I finish the fight lossless, leveling into Advanced Wisdom and Basic Air, earning a ton of gold, and I can then immediately swing by the Magic Well, and then DD towards the Blue Town. Now I go back to the Tan Town and hire Cuthbert, recruiting all available army, and go for the last of Tan's towns. Week 2, day 3, Vey finds the Blue Town barely guarded, so Auto makes quick work of the fight. And Vey continues towards the next Blue Town in line, which their main hero flagged during their turn. Adelaide takes on the Purple Town, and the Auto show continues, beating Ignatius and getting a really nice artifact in the Crown of Dragontooth, and leveling into Expert Air. Handy! The most efficient way to play from here with Adelaide is to restore her mana to get the big DD days in later, so I do some trading to get enough wood for a mage guild, then hire Gurnison to take on the southern Purple Town, even giving him the Titans to do so, which should be more than enough to take on the guarded town. Afterwards, Cuthbert also does some sieging, but again, Auto steals the show. No point wasting time doing these easy fights. This vanquishes Tan, the first of many. Gurnison takes on the Purple Town, winning lossless. And I can use my enormous amount of gold from all the towns plus Grail income to do some very basic, and I don't even want to call it chaining, but it's close enough, to get the Titans back to Adelaide. And we also get to showcase-ish a couple of the heroes we basically never see in Ash and Orin, so that's kind of nice. This chaining ordeal is a bit of a dent in my gold reserves, but it's worth it. As now, Adelaide can double DD up to Pyre, Purple's last hero, and take her on. Auto finally loses a Titan again, so I do this manually. A Meteor Shower makes quick work of the Magogs and Imps, before I wait with the Titans. eventually shaving off a few demons from her stack. Same procedure on turn 2, but Pyre just flees afterwards. I can then walk into their final town, vanquishing purple, before using the 2 remaining Dimension Door casts to reach a neutral fortress town on the way to red's territory. And this has a Mage Guild pre-built, setting up the next day very nicely. Vey, on the other hand, blasts the final blue town and builds a tavern. I learned something cool here. You can get campaign heroes on this map, so I, of course, hire Borragus, give him the titans, and he just destroys Straker easily, getting a very important artifact, the Skull Helmet, which Borragus trades to Vey, alongside the titans of course. Afterwards, I move Orin into town, dismiss Ash, and do some unnecessary moving with Cuthbert, while Caitlyn picks up some more resources, just in case. On the AI turn, after red does their thing, the last blue hero attacks a neutral town in pure desperation, losing, which means blue is vanquished as well. Week 2, day 5, Vey goes for green, DDing from the only spot which can reach the British Isles, using the extra mana from the Skull Helmet to fly over the forest to flag London, which is unguarded, but not quite reaching Ivor, who is not that far away. Also noticing Rylan has come back ashore, thankfully, so he won't be the limiting factor this run. Instead, I go on a rampage with Adelaide. First DDing to the easternmost red town, which is free to flag, then DDing to Oris, attack her on the snow, but she just flees from auto-combat, which I don't really mind. I can use the 2 remaining DDs to get the second red town, also left unguarded. I don't think you can really blame the AI for not preparing for a quadruple DD in order to take 2 of their towns plus their main hero, but it feels pretty good. As always, building a mage guild for mana restoration purposes before hiring another hero, Broghild, who gets 1 titan and heads for Oslo, the final red town. In London, I hire Gerwolf, give him all the titans in order to take out Ivor, but he, incredibly enough, loses 1 titan, and I decide to do this myself. But then I see the damage I take on turn 1 after waiting with the titans, which was a mistake, and decide, what is the 1 titan in the grand scheme of things anyway? And quick combat for the finish. No biggie, -1 titan. The next day, Gerwolf can instead take out the final green town, and I devise a plan to get Rylan out of the picture. So with Vey, I recruit the 3 trees in the Rampart town, split them into 1 stacks, and go for the nearby Troll Bridge, where I just retreat, so I can rehire him in the other Rampart town, where Gerwolf can give the titans back. So Vey can safely DD over to Ireland and go for Rylan, letting Otto fight it out for real this time. But this fight was so quick, I'm not sure I'll even use battle music for this. Woof. Green is vanquished, leaving only red, which Adelaide goes for immediately, finding Shiva close by. With her 1 titan, Otto loses, but I have endless magic, so after waiting on turn 1, letting Shiva's forces advance, I lightning bolt her orcs, killing them all, and shoot the rocks, killing 1 out of 3. Another lightning bolt takes out her goblins the next turn, and the titan shot removes the birds from play. I wait afterwards, but Shiva just flees, the coward. This only leaves Oslo, where Broghild goes for a devastating attack. Otto wins, but let's finish this manually. This is really not a difficult fight, as the titan is obviously gonna destroy these weak creatures, due to how cool, handsome, awesome, and strong the titan is. And red even has an arrow tower, so it's clearly not a fair fight. After throwing some lightning their way for a few turns, Broghild wins the fight, which means red is vanquished, which means I'm victorious. In 13 days. Not too shabby for an Excel scenario, I think. 448 score in Archangel rank is pretty good, but I think it's definitely possible to do this faster. I spent a few hours trying to improve, but I couldn't get it quite right. But it wouldn't surprise me if even 11 days is possible. Before I let you go, I want to show you this cool ending of a practice run, which took a few days longer than this, but after finishing the last battle against Rylan, you can see I get a final score of 450. If I found the Grail myself, this would have been a 500 score. I always thought it was impossible to get 500, but after this, maybe not. Maybe I'll try for it someday. Obviously on a different scenario, as you need to dig up the grail yourself. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed watching as much as I enjoyed playing. If you did, feel free to leave a like, comment and a subscription. Channel members get access to my videos a couple of days early as well. I hope to see you next time, and that you have a mighty and magically good day. Bye bye. And as always, a huge thank you to all my channel members for your continued support. I really appreciate it. And an extra special shout out to my Ballista members, Eskubani, Van Lunis, Rick Vissout, Lika, Kat, and CJ. Thank you all very much.